Joyful news: Janelle Brown finds love again and marries her new husband. Life is unpredictable. No one knows what the next moment will bring. A peaceful and stable existence can quickly transform into one filled with turbulence and pain. For Janelle Brown, one of the most familiar faces from Sister Wives, that truth has become all too real. After years of living in a polygamous marriage with Kody Brown, she has endured heartbreak, loneliness, and unimaginable loss. Yet, in the midst of sorrow, she has also discovered resilience and a new path forward. Her story is a reminder that even when everything seems broken, life has a way of opening new doors. Janelle was married to Kody Brown for nearly 3 decades, their union beginning on January 20, 1993. At the time, Kody was already married to Meri, and in the years that followed, Christine and Robyn would also join the family. The TLC series Sister Wives, which premiered in 2010, brought their unconventional lifestyle into the homes of millions of viewers. Janelle, as the second wife, stood out from the very beginning for her grounded personality and her practical approach to life. While others often clashed with the challenges of polygamy, she appeared to handle it with composure, carving out her own space within the sprawling family. Her bond with Kody was a spiritual marriage, one not legally recognized but nonetheless deeply meaningful within their faith community. Together, they raised 6 children, building a household that reflected the ideals of shared responsibility and collective strength. Janelle had always been drawn to the concept of polygamy, not out of obligation, but because she believed in the sense of community it promised. Raised in a traditional Mormon family, she had an appreciation for the way multiple wives could share the burdens of raising children and managing households. The lifestyle, she felt, gave her freedom. With others helping with domestic duties, she was able to focus on her career and passions. Janelle was always one of the Brown family's main providers. Armed with a bachelor's degree in accounting, she built a successful career and contributed significantly to the family's finances. Her independent streak was evident not only in her professional life but in the way she carried herself. Unlike some of the other wives, she often preferred her own space and enjoyed the solitude that came with Kody's absences. She even admitted that she liked the fact that he wasn't around every night. He could be particular, especially about food and household routines, and his presence sometimes created more stress than comfort. Janelle relished the quiet moments in which she could simply focus on her children and herself. For years, Janelle accepted the ups and downs of the plural family. She was willing to share her husband, she was willing to compromise, and she was willing to put in the work to keep the family together. Yet, over time, cracks began to show. Kody's favoritism toward Robyn became increasingly clear, and the once collaborative family structure began to feel fractured. The sense of equality that had drawn Janelle into polygamy was gone, replaced by strained relationships and growing resentment. What had once been a community no longer felt like one. The breaking point came in December 2022. After nearly 30 years of marriage, Janelle chose separation. She didn't make the decision lightly. For much of her life, she had imagined herself staying with Kody forever, no matter the circumstances. But the emotional toll had become too great. Kody's inability to treat his wives fairly, combined with the disintegration of the family unit, left her with no choice but to walk away. For Janelle, the end of the marriage was heartbreaking, but it also marked the beginning of a new chapter. In the years following her separation, Janelle focused on rebuilding. In 2025, she announced a personal detox plan, not just for her body but for her soul. She sought to cleanse herself emotionally, physically, and spiritually. She moved to North Carolina to be near her daughter Madison, finding comfort in the presence of her children and grandchildren. Family has always been Janelle's foundation, and despite the chaos of her marriage, her devotion to her children never wavered. The tragic loss of her son Garrison in 2024 only deepened that bond. His death was an unimaginable blow, one that could have shattered her completely. Instead, she leaned into her role as a mother and grandmother, channeling her grief into love and presence for those who remain. Janelle's reflections on her marriage have revealed much about her character. She has acknowledged that she enjoyed aspects of polygamy that others struggled with. She didn't mind not having Kody's attention every day. In fact, she sometimes preferred it. She loved her independence and the ability to run her own household without constant interference. For her, polygamy once represented freedom, not confinement. Yet even she could not ignore the toxicity that grew when one wife was clearly favored above the rest. The imbalance destroyed the foundation that had once held their family together. Her resilience has inspired many fans who watched her journey on Sister Wives. Janelle has shown that strength does not always mean holding on, sometimes it means letting go. She never wanted her marriage to end, but she realized she deserved better than what Kody was willing to give. Her decision to separate was not just about leaving him, but about choosing herself. That choice has defined her life since, guiding her as she continues to heal and discover who she is beyond the shadow of Kody Brown. While viewers once knew her primarily as Kody's second wife, Janelle has become much more than that. She is a woman who has endured profound loss, navigated enormous change, and emerged with a renewed sense of purpose. She remains deeply tied to her children and grandchildren, finding joy in the simple moments of family life. She has embraced the idea that her story is still unfolding, and that the end of her marriage is not the end of her happiness. Janelle's story also highlights the complexities of polygamous marriage. It is often portrayed as a structure built on faith, cooperation, and love. For some, it may provide that. But for others, it reveals cracks that cannot be ignored. Janelle entered the lifestyle with genuine belief in its potential. For years, she made it work. But when favoritism, inequality, and fractured values replaced fairness and collaboration, the entire system collapsed. Her journey is proof that no matter how strong one's faith or commitment, relationships cannot survive without mutual respect and balance. Even after leaving Kody, Janelle has not lost her sense of compassion. She doesn't lash out with bitterness or resentment. Instead, she speaks with honesty about the life she lived and the reasons she chose to move on. That honesty is what resonates with fans who see themselves in her struggles. She represents the courage it takes to admit when something is no longer working, and the bravery required to step away from a life you once thought would last forever. As she continues forward, Janelle remains focused on building a life filled with meaning. Her move to North Carolina, her renewed commitment to her health, and her dedication to her family all show that she is determined not to be defined by the past. She has chosen to see her future not as a continuation of what was, but as the creation of something entirely new. Her resilience is her legacy, one that speaks not only to fans of the show but to anyone who has faced the heartbreak of letting go. Janelle's journey reminds us that even after decades of shared history, even after the pain of divorce and the devastation of loss, there is still room for hope. Her story is not one of defeat but of rebirth. And in that rebirth, she has found a way to honor her past while embracing her future.